He struck me across the face. Not once, twice, because the soup wasn't salted enough. The bowl rattled against the table, my lips split. His eyes burned with the arrogance of a man who believed his cruelty had no witness. And then, as if nothing had happened, he ordered me, "Tomorrow, my wife is coming for lunch. Cover everything up. Smile." He walked away like I was furniture, like I was disposable. He forgot I was a mother before he was a son. I remember the boy he once was, how he used to cling to my hand in crowded bazaars, how he used to beg for another story before sleep. I raised him with soft hands, even when the world was hard on me. But kindness can rot when entitlement grows. He mistook my silence for weakness. He mistook my devotion for servitude. The change came slowly, his words sharper than knives, his temper unpredictable. He married, and with that ring, I ceased to be mother and became servant. I cooked, I cleaned, I endured, until last night's slap broke something far deeper than my skin. I did not cry. Crying gives away power. Instead, I sat at the table, tasting the metallic tang of my blood, and planned. Betrayal is most painful when it comes from flesh of your flesh, but it also gives you the clearest weapon: intimate knowledge. I knew his flaws, his weaknesses, his hunger for status. I knew the one man whose approval he worshipped more than any god, his boss. So I prepared my stage. The next morning, while he preened in front of the mirror, fixing his tie, I was already in motion. I dressed the table beautifully, just as he demanded, but not for his wife. No, this performance was for someone else entirely. When he stormed into the kitchen barking orders, I nodded, obedient. When he left for the office, I smiled at his retreating back. He thought the war was won. He didn't realize the war had just begun. His boss was a man of precision, with no patience for dishonor. He valued loyalty and despised men who struck the vulnerable. I knew this because I had listened. Countless dinners where my son bragged, trying to impress his wife, repeating every lesson the man preached. He worshipped him like a second father. And so, with steady hands, I delivered the truth to his God. Not with screams, not with accusations, with evidence. Photographs of the bruises he left. A recording, his voice sharp and venomous, threatening me into silence. And a letter. Short, simple. A mother's testimony, stripped of drama, leaving only fact. I sealed them in an envelope, left it at the office. No signature, no need. The truth didn't require my name. When he walked into his boss's room that morning, he expected praise, camaraderie, maybe even a promotion. Instead, he saw the envelope waiting on the desk. He saw the photographs. He heard his own voice, venom spilling from the recording, and he turned pale as chalk. I wasn't there to watch. I didn't need to be. I could imagine it well enough. The sweat gathering at his collar, his mouth drying, his excuses collapsing before they could be spoken. Because what defense does a man have when confronted by his own reflection? At home, I laid the table with quiet care. His wife arrived, smiling politely, unaware. I poured her tea with steady hands. My bruises were hidden beneath my sleeves, but the silence between us was sharp. By evening he returned, his shoes heavy, his face ghost white. He didn't speak. He didn't sit. He simply stood in the doorway, staring at me as though I had stolen the ground beneath his feet. And maybe I had. He knew. He knew it was me. A mother's eyes are too calm, too steady, when the dagger has already been driven. He tried to salvage it, of course. Lies layered on lies. But the office was merciless. His boss, his idol, despised him now. Colleagues whispered. His wife began to ask questions he couldn't answer. His career, the castle he built on cruelty, crumbled brick by brick. And I watched, silent, patient, the way he had taught me to be. Do I regret it? No. Regret is for those who wish they had chosen differently. I chose perfectly. He wanted me to cover everything up, to smile while swallowing humiliation. Instead, I uncovered him. I let the world see the man behind the mask. He thought himself untouchable, but in the end, he was brought down not by strangers, not by enemies, but by the woman who once held his tiny hand and promised never to let go. I gave him life, and I took away the one he built on lies. That is justice. And as I sit here sipping my tea in the same kitchen where he once raised his hand against me, I feel no sorrow, only clarity. Because he will never again mistake my silence for weakness. He will never again raise his hand to me. And when I close my eyes tonight, I will not see the slap. I will see his face in that office, turning pale as chalk.